What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, I've shared a lot of what I have, my perspective on things and how people should approach certain situations, all that stuff on my channel, but I never really have broken down why I do this stuff on this particular channel. And I think it's about time for me to tell people why I have such empathy and why I want to spread messages of positivity. Because to start out with, growing up as a kid, I was always a big guy. I always had a lot of size and weight. And I don't care what anybody says, people don't treat you the same when you're big. They don't give you the respect. They look at you like you're dirty, like you're nasty. You don't twinkle nobody's eye. And it's a very, very lonely existence. You feel bad about yourself. You look in the mirror and you just want to take every mirror out of your house. You feel so bad about yourself and you have no self-esteem. And then the few people that you do let in your life, they take advantage of you, but you don't care because at least you're getting something. You're getting some kind of attention as a big person. And I was that guy. There was a time in my life where I was 350 pounds and I had friends and I did things, but people don't treat you the same. They really don't. They don't look at you the same. Nobody wants to give you a chance. Nobody wants to give you a shot. Everybody keeps you at arm's length. Romantically, you can forget it. I mean, I'm just telling you straight up, guys. I was a big guy. I was active. I liked to do stuff, but I just wasn't physically attractive, So I made moves in my life to change that. I went and got braces. I went and got bypass surgeries, lost weight, And the reason why I know that people treat you differently is because once I lost the weight, once the braces came off and my teeth were straight, people started treating me differently. They started noticing me and recognizing me. They started giving me the positive attention, especially women. When women were giving me attention that I didn't know that I could get, and I didn't know how to deal with it, really. I didn't know how, girls would be flirting with me and I wouldn't even know it because I was so used to people treating me like a troll or, something like that, But I spent many years in self-pity and self-hate, and I just drove myself in the ground time and time again. And I was trying to internalize the pain and not really let other people see it. So I was always the funny guy, always making the jokes, always trying to be the life of the party and be more than what I really was, because I needed to compensate for being ugly and being fat. And even though I was massively strong, I was doing strongman competitions, I was squatting and bench pressing more than just about anybody in the gym, and I ran on the treadmills. I did everything I thought I had to do. I dieted, everything, and I just struggled so bad. It was just a constant, never-ending battle for me. And that didn't matter, man. I just didn't fit the persona as far as the love life went, or as far as certain friends went that met the persona of the time of what is physically attractive. Of course, I think, plus size people now are starting to get a little bit more recognition. But back then it was just not, it was terrible. Like I said, people, they didn't want to sit next to you because they thought you were too fat to wipe your own butt or something. That's kind of what it seemed like, It was like people they treated you like you were dirty or lazy or pathetic. And, people looked down on you. I mean, you know, they would talk to you, some would be nice to you, and you would, when you get to be like that, you know, a lot of times you'll start reading between the lines of stuff that isn't there, like somebody just being nice to you. You're hoping that it's just a glimmer, and you start feeling feelings for people that have no feelings for you whatsoever, just because they were being nice to you, and you're just not used to that. And you hope to God that this person likes you back, and they don't. And you end up getting your heart ripped out of your chest time and time and time again, to the point where it's more expected. You know, you expected to feel the pain. You expected to have your heart torn out of your chest. You never, you always expected the rejection. Rejection was the norm. And I battled that for the entirety of my life, the entirety of it. And after I've lost the weight and people started kind of treating me differently, and I started getting to go out on dates, and I met somebody, and, you know, I started having a relationships, and people were interacting with me and treating me a lot different. And that shed some light on, you know, how life is. Sometimes, guys, you have to make the changes that you want to make to affect the surroundings. And I know that sounds bad. You know, I know you say, well, people accept me for who I am, or they won't accept me at all. And, you know, that's true at some point, but sometimes the results have to come from you. Sometimes you have to push and make things happen for yourselves in order to catapult yourself into a result that you're going to be ultimately happy with. And guys, I didn't want to do the bypass surgery, but I couldn't lose the weight, and I was struggling so bad, and I was eating right and lifting weights and going to the gym and running and just doing everything right, and I just could not cut the weight off because I couldn't sacrifice all the time I needed to between work and school and everything else to be in the gym all the time. So anyway, guys, what I'm trying to say is that's my backstory. So I have a lot of empathy for people, because I have struggled so hard in my life. And I know that I've only touched on it a little bit here, but people who know me deeply know that I struggled so bad the entirety of my life, to be a loving person, and for somebody to love me back, and to be in a wholesome, beautiful relationship and have children and all that stuff. And it took me having to make external changes to myself and become what society wanted me to be, but physically tailoring myself to something that I could be myself happy with. Because I had a lot of self-loathing, a lot of internal hatred, a lot of internal anguish that I was invoking on myself, and I had to fix that before I could have enough confidence to get out in the world and be attractive again, be attractive to people. And so that's what I did. And these were some of the hardest decisions I ever made in my life. You know, getting braces. It was, a long, drawn-out process. Cost me a lot of money that I didn't really have, but I was willing to sacrifice anything. And, when I had my bypass surgery and I lost all that weight real fast, I endured lots of sickness, lots of pain and all that stuff, but I didn't care. I didn't care one bit what it took. I would sacrifice anything to lose the weight and to become something that I would be happy with in the long run. And as I lost the weight, my social life increased. I got more confident. I became more social. I could hold conversations and hold people's interest and pique people's interest because, because they didn't look at me the same. And I noticed that, I noticed people didn't look at me the same. I noticed that the very essence of what I was changing fundamentally. But the person I was before didn't love it. I didn't love myself. I hated me. I hated everything about myself. I hated the fact that I couldn't eat the food I wanted to eat, and I loved food, and it was a comfort for me. Now, like I said, I wasn't completely a bulbous, fat dude, but I was fat enough and I was big enough that people held me, they looked at me like I was nasty. And for most of my life, man, it was just rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. It became such a norm to have the pain that I became accustomed to the pain, and I expected rejection, I expected pain, and I expected people not to want to be with me. And like I said, guys, once I found something internally that I could do to help, externally to help me fix my internal self, then I started progressing as an individual, kind of like a late bloomer, I guess you could say. After I lost the weight, after I got my teeth straightened out, I really started having some self-confidence. I really started pushing myself to do things that I wouldn't normally do. And then I started, talking to people that I wouldn't even dare to talk to. Like, as a big guy, I would have never talked to some of these women or whatever the deal is, I'd have never done that because I knew that would be an embarrassment for me in the club. They would just completely destroy me in front of everybody, and I would be a laughing stock. But now I have the confidence to, let, more or less let the market set the price, and then I'll go out in the club and I'll talk, and then, I'll get some good responses, and I'll get some bad responses, and I'm okay with that now. But back then I was so sensitive, I couldn't deal with it. People they started treating me a lot different. So this is what I say, guys, when it comes to life. You got to be what you expect others to be in your life. So if you're going to be, if you want a wholesome relationship with a woman or whatever the deal is, you need to reflect what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a woman that's, fitness model with perfect everything, physically, you better be the same thing. Or if you're looking for a chick that's understanding and a good mom or would be a good mom and a good homemaker, you need to be prepared to be a good father and a good husband and a good home provider. So you need to really prepare yourself, guys, for what you want in life to come to you, and you need to reflect what you're expecting. But what I am saying too also is that you can persevere, and I know it's terrible, and I know it's hard, and I know it's just terrible to think about having to make sacrifices, but you can persevere, and you can increase your probabilities in life, and you can make your odds better, and you can give yourself a chance. But that's my story, guys. I mean, and I know it's kind of a vague story, and it's so much more in depth. I wish I could share more with you, but I'm gonna try to keep the videos fairly short. But that's where I came from, guys. And I endured a lot as a kid. Being tormented by family members, just constantly telling me that I'm fat or ugly or lazy, and constantly being rejected by women, and constantly people treating me differently in social structures. And it hurt all the time. I mean, I was getting it at home, I was getting it at school, I was getting it on ball field, whatever, it didn't matter. I was getting it everywhere. And it got to a point where that's all I knew. But I tried to smile and make people laugh and compensate for it, and try to hide and bottle it all up and internalize it so people wouldn't see that I was in pain. When, half the time when I had a room full of people laughing, inside I was crying. So, but I changed that, guys. I made a change. I consciously decided to do a few things to change my life, and I wouldn't change it for the world, because that has made me who I am today, and it's taught me humility. It's taught me to understand where people are coming from, to have empathy, and to read and understand people and their pain. And it's driven me to want to help people. So if you guys can relate to this, and I'm sure most people can in some way, form, or fashion, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll talk to you next time. Later.